what's important to understand as we meet ourselves and our different parts is that becoming aware of different aspects of self that are taking over or hijacking or emerging or coming up is super, super important. That said, what's important as the next step is to deeply understand the motivation and intent of our parts. And what I mean by that is that often we judge parts of ourselves. We don't like it when we act out from a part that might be young or a part that might be in fight or might want to run away. And another part of us will say, it's not okay. After all the work that I've done, after all the amount of retreats that I've attended, why is it that I am still so stuck in these patterns? So we end up beating ourselves up and being quite abrasive and harsh to these parts that are actually really young. And those parts, they do not know what they're doing often. And so one of the best things you can do is bring love and compassion and understanding and empathy to these aspects of self. Imagining that each of these parts was like your daughter or your son, a young child, and that you are literally standing next to them, not in front of them, hands around their shoulders, and you are talking to them as if you are bringing your most loving, compassionate part to your own child if they were mistaken around their own goodness. So you might, in fact, hold them and say, oh, honey, I so get why you might want to reach out for the cookie right now. And it's so okay. And I want you to know that you're not alone. And if there's anything that you need to tell me, if there's anything you want to share, I'm here for you. It's not making the action wrong around reaching out for the cookie. Not saying that it's better and healthier to eat a salad rather than the cookie. It's about meeting these parts and bringing compassion and love, which is exactly what we do in Circle. Externally, we're practicing the art of love. We are practicing loving all that is, and we're basically practicing welcoming everything. And yet when we do this on our own, we get to parent our own inner children by that mechanism that I've just shared, by literally placing our arms around them energetically and visualizing like, I so feel you, I get you. Now, in order to really bring compassion to a part, you must understand its motivations and intent and feel that part's intrinsic goodness. And that's where most people get tripped up. To deeply understand the underlying needs and needs behind the needs and the intentions of a part means you have to trust that every single part of you is acting benevolently and under the best interests of that part, and that no part is doing anything inappropriate given its own consciousness and perspective, and that we need to understand with a deeply loving heart every aspect of a part is doing the best that it can. And that we need to also understand why it would choose these feelings, these actions, these states, and that if we make it okay, not that the result of that is healthy, it can really cause destructive things to happen in our life, but we meet the parts that are acting out with complete understanding, compassion. And it's when we have that understanding, there is an inner relaxation that takes place. This is the act of self-forgiveness. It's not saying the words in front of a mirror, I forgive myself for X, Y, and Z. It's actually doing the work to deeply understand why that part got dissociated at a certain age, really listening to that part, bringing compassion and love and talking to it as if it was your own child, and then inviting that part back in and to honor it by making sure that as you move forward in your life, you're bringing that part along, that you're not overriding your younger aspects because you think that you're so impatient now. You're like, I'm so done having to listen to these young parts of me. I so want to be in my adult, so I'm now going to push forward. And that push becomes a toxic energy which overrides these younger aspects that are yearning for maybe a little bit more space, a little bit more reassurance, a little bit more time. And we might need to be in this space for weeks, months, maybe even years as a healing process before those parts are integrated enough that you can really sustain a movement forward. Have you ever heard of those types of situations where someone might win the lottery and they might lose the money very quickly or within a certain period of time, or they receive love in their life through an amazing relationship, but somehow they sabotage it. They're not able to hold the frequency of abundance or love. They can't receive that and hold that consistently in their life. And this is a manifestation of unintegrated parts that will eventually crack the container of our own ability to receive. And then we end up not being able to hold all the love, wisdom, abundance that we crave. And then, of course, this creates a loop because we judge ourselves for self-sabotaging. We beat ourselves up for not having it all together as we'd like, etc., etc. So this is the ongoing journey and work that we do in the world of Heart IQ around parts. And